Hi, I'm Colin of Bosworth Property Marrakech.
Hi, Colin. I'm Abdul Kadir, also property consultant with Bosworth Property Marrakech. Happy New Year.
Yeah, to you as well. The Christmas tree is gone. We're back in Marrakech. You were in Denmark for the holidays.
Oh, yes. It was cold, windy, and very snowy when I left, luckily, though.
Wow.
Yes.
It's actually been very cold and wet here in Marrakech these last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Frost in the mornings.
Yeah.
Never seen that before. Quite
No,
unbelievable.
I think it's the same people in Europe and elsewhere. It's been really, really cold winter.
Amazing. Today we're here to discuss a question which is often asked of us. What's the difference between investing in a licensed guest house as opposed to a private rental property?
That's correct.
What we often call Airbnb properties.
Yeah.
For you, what's on a global level, what would you say is the main difference between these two?
I think first it's quite to understand what a maison d'hôte is. Basically, a maison d'hôte is not just a property.
A maison d'hôte is a guest house.
Yes, it's a regulated hospitality business, which is the main difference. So that difference is actually quite critical, and it's authorized by the ministry, the Moroccan Ministry of Tourism authorities, and it's not the same as a private residential riad.
So as a private residential riad, I could literally rent my home out on Airbnb or Booking.com.
That's correct, yes.
There are some limits to that, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to rent it exclusively, that's to say
The
the whole
whole
property. Whereas
that's
in a
correct.
guest house, you can rent by the room.
Exactly,
like a
that's
hotel.
on individual basis. So it's a commercially regulated hospitality business, yes.
And what are the main criteria that I would need to qualify as a guest house, for example?
First, you would have to obtain a provisional authorization from the Moroccan tourism authorities, but you'd have to put your application to the Regional Center of Investment.
The CRI, yeah.
The CRI in Marrakech, there's one in Galice, that's my understanding. But then typically property size, minimum requirements for number of rooms, accessibility for disabled people, and lots of other planning requirements. So it's actually a lot of regulation.
You need WC for men, another one for
Double,
women.
yeah, staff.
You need a staff room.
Facilities, yeah.
You need emergency lighting. Basically, it corresponds to what in Europe or the Northern America we would call a hotel structure.
Yes,
So even if you've only got 5 or 6 rooms, you would still need fire escape. You would need an emergency hose in case of fire, emergency lighting, etc. All of these things.
Yes, you would also have to declare your employees to the CNSS, inspections, insurance, all of those extra additional things, basically, yes.
Whereas my private property, if I'm renting it on Airbnb, has no requirements whatsoever.
Not at the moment. They've been talking about it for quite a while.
Many, many years.
Yes, but it seems like the Ministry of Tourism, they want to push a 5-year permit now, short-term rental permit, but it's just a formality. They say you come, you basically submit the application, an inspection will be done, basically that lives up to tourist accommodation levels, not maison d'hôte. So it's a lot easier, that's my understanding. But nothing is formal yet, nothing is being
I mean, they've been talking about this, as we say, for many years. And as of now, I can literally just go to Airbnb and put my property on a listing.
Booking.com, Airbnb, short-term rental platforms.
I believe you're supposed to go to establish a company here to manage your rental.
That's correct.
However, I know many people who don't.
Yes.
And I don't know quite what sort of control is exercised on these Airbnb properties. There's often quite a bit of tension between the licensed guest houses and the Airbnb sector, as we call it, because it does seem sometimes like a little bit of unfair competition.
It does, yes. First it was the main hotels, now the guest houses, and now it's coming down to the Airbnbs. And there are actually many more tourist accommodations. I think they are looking at dividing all of the properties into 10 different property categories, where Airbnb is one of them, maison d'hôte is one of them. So yeah, they're trying to regulate the businesses, set up a company, like you said, but also taxation. That's the main issue for the Moroccan government. Also moving forward towards 2030, they're losing out
the World Cup.
Exactly. They're losing out on a lot of taxes So I think it might actually happen this time.
We'll see.
With all of the World Cup coming up.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It is literally a subject that's been talked about since I arrived in Morocco 15 years ago.
Almost 2 decades.
And nothing has happened yet. So
Yes.
we will see. Maybe this is the time. Obviously, investment points are very different. If I'm looking to purchase a key-in-hand boutique guest house,
Yes.
I'll be looking at a certain sum of money. And if I'm looking to purchase a rental property for Airbnb, it could be a lot more modest.
Yes, that's true. In today's market, I would say for a good guest house, 5-6 rooms, I would say start from 600,000-700,000 euros today. At least minimum.
At least, yeah.
Where you probably might also have to do some work. So yes, Maison d'Hôte does require a lot of capital. So I think...
Are the returns good?
Returns are, I would say, some of the best, particularly in Medina where you have limited supply. Probably 15 to 25% return on investment with a licensed guest house. Yes. Airbnbs, if you manage it well, you could probably get between 12-14%, but that's if you really push it.
If you push it. A lot of people don't want the work that comes with a guest house because you're basically looking at a lot of check-ins, a lot of check-outs. You have people coming in and out every day, a lot of administration which goes with that. Whereas my Airbnb, basically I have one person who's renting it. They could be there a week.
Yep.
I don't have any check-ins or check-outs.
That's correct.
And I also understand that with an Airbnb property, I can literally give it to an agent.
Yes.
So I can make a passive investment.
Exactly.
I can buy the property, take it to the agent. The agent will take his cut, usually about 20% of the revenue. But it's his job then to fill it, his job to maintain it, to clean it, to staff it, etc.
Yes.
So that seems like another option. Basically, a passive investment where I buy an Airbnb property, give it to an agent, and I just take the money at the end of the month.
That's true. And one of the biggest caveats with Maison d'Hôte is actually the operating cost. Whereas, like Colin explained, you explained very well, is that the operating cost to run a short-term rental is actually not a lot. 20% if you give it to a professional management company. Whereas for a guest house, you'd be looking at, I would say at the beginning, probably 60% of your income would probably go to operating expenses. And as you go, you probably end up somewhere between 35-40%.
Yes, the experienced operators that I know are working on 40%.
Exactly.
So 60% of their revenue basically is profit, which is pretty impressive. If you've got 6, 7 or more rooms, that can be quite significant.
Exactly.
Whereas with an Airbnb property, obviously that will depend. So, for example, some of our clients will buy a little Duiria. Duiria is like an apartment in the Medina, 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms. You'd probably get 100, 150 euros a day for it, a night. Whereas in a guest house, each room would be going for at least that amount and sometimes higher.
Yeah, that is correct, yeah.
So a lot more earning potential with the guest house, but a heavier price ticket to start with and more administration.
That's correct.
On the private rental side, we've got a lower investment point,
lower staff,
lower administration, lower staff, etc., but also diminished return.
Yeah.
That sums it up pretty well. And if I'm looking at purchasing a rental property at this time, what would you suggest? How much money would I need to be able to get something?
Well, it depends. You're talking about turnkey
something I can work
rental.
with immediately.
Yes, I would say the good ones in today's market, and we're actually at a historically high price point. I would say minimum 450.
Oh wow! Really?
Yeah.
How many bedrooms would I get for that?
That would probably be 3 to 4 bedrooms. Yeah.
Right.
Of course, if you're looking for a smaller property like a Duria 2-bedroom, probably 300,000. Still possible to find such opportunities, but a proper short-term rental investment property, 3 to 4 bedrooms, well located, 450, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, we have quite a few listed in those price brackets, don't we? I think the most affordable Duiria that we have in the Medina is 290,000 euros.
Yes, and the one we sold before went for 260, right?
It went in a week.
Exactly. So well-priced Duarias are actually going quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And if we're looking outside the Medina, we have some rental properties, for example, in Al Qaria.
Yes.
These are affordable.
Yeah.
Less than 300,000 euros.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah. And there are also guest houses and rental properties in the new city as well as in the countryside.
Yes, there is. So a licensed guest house can actually also be given to a villa, for instance.
Yes.
or a larger estate property. And we do often see that in Marrakech there are a lot of interest or demand for properties located actually more than half an hour drive. And my experience is people always say, oh, half an hour is too far. But the demand is actually quite incredible. There are yoga retreats, there are eco resorts, a lot of properties up in the high Atlas Mountains, and we're talking about beyond 30 minutes and up to an hour drive, right?
I mean, we know there are a number of guest houses out on the Orica Road, the Amismis Road, even the Fez Road.
Fez Road, Ouarzazate Road.
Ouarzazate, where you're looking at a 30-minute drive. It's relatively affordable.
It is.
Because I know we have some guest houses listed for less than €1 million with 6, 7, 8 bedrooms and gardens and pools, which is sort of interesting because if you're in Marrakech, anytime basically from February through to November, you want a pool because you want to profit from the sunshine and nice to be out in the nature as well. So it seems to me that once you get out a little bit, it becomes more affordable.
Of course, and that's quite normal. But then again, you'd have a driver who takes you into the city. You can do one-day excursions, which is actually quicker. Coming out,
going up to the mountains,
or visiting even Essaouira or any other city. So they're definitely affordable and quite interesting. We had one on the road to Amismis, Umnes, I believe.
Yes, Umnes,
incredible value, I think. The plot size, the amenities, the views. So so that's a different.
It's a different market.
And
what about the city centre? If we're talking Gillizy, Vernage, if we're looking at apartments there, is that if I'm going to go Airbnb, should I be looking at units in Gillies?
I would say if you're looking at Airbnb, probably 3 neighborhoods. Ivanage, it's the upscale district of Marrakech. And then I would say Gillies and Majorelle. Those 3, those are safe, I would say. Maybe you might find apartment types in a gated community like Agdal, which I would probably add to the list because of the new development. Exactly. Morocco Mall is developing around that area. So I think Agdal is definitely going to be the next place where we'd see villas, apartments.
I've heard one thing which is important if you're buying a unit in an apartment block is to check with the homeowners association to ensure that it is available for short-term rental. Some buildings are only residential, and you might end up buying a property which you then can't rent. So be very careful with that. A good notary will insist that the seller brings along the homeowner association
bylaws
rules
exactly.
Before purchasing. Interesting. So basically, if you're looking at Marrakech as an investment destination, anywhere from 300,000 to multi-million euros, there is a good return to be had in one of these sectors.
Absolutely. Better than the Western Hemisphere, I would say. 2 to 4% in Europe. When you consider some of the high operating expenses, a lot is more cheaper here. Tradesmen, architects, work is generally cheaper, even though construction prices, materials have gone up. So I would say even with a good profit margin, there's different types of properties that people can look into.
Something for everyone.
Exactly. Whether you're looking long-term, medium-term or short-term.
Exactly.
There's definitely something. And I think a lot of first-time buyers, they should ask themselves their investment horizon, how far are you looking at to invest? Is it immediate? Is it long-term? Because there are different types of strategies that they can employ.
And we can advise on that.
And we can advise on it.
Yeah, interesting. And today is Friday.
Yep.
Means the end of the week for some of us.
True.
I know you're working tomorrow.
I'm working tomorrow on duty.
We're going to a new venue this evening with the team.
Yes.
Where are we going?
We're going to Mizan. Mizan means in Arabic, I think, weight or balance. There are many upscale restaurants, cafes, bars popping up in Newtown. So we're trying a new one today.
Have you been there before?
I was there once with a friend. That's why I recommend it. Right. Service was incredible. That was the quickest service I've seen.
I'm looking forward to this very much, and it's super interesting the dynamic at the moment in the restaurant scene and the bar scene here in Marrakech.
That's another
new products every day, new things to try. I'm really looking forward to that.
Absolutely, me as well.
Have a great weekend.
You too,
Lovely
Colin.
speaking with you.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure we'll be back on the famous Bosworth Property Marrakech sofa before too long.
Too, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Good weekend out there.